actually shifted into a different phase. Um, if there was an agenda, the ERT and the data, and maybe give us your opinion, your educated opinion with the data available to you. If there was a main contender for an agenda, what would your hypothesis be for that agenda?
And we're not told to think a certain way in the ERT. I
Right,
mean, there are
naturally.
people that think all different forms of hypotheses about it. But Kathleen and I, and it seems like Sev Talk, my colleague, who I'm going to be doing KGRA's MUFON radio program with in the future. But we've all kind of come to the same conclusions without having talked about them. We know that there are three things that experiencers are told. Doesn't matter what their background is. Doesn't matter what their political background is. If they're religious, atheist, agnostic, it doesn't matter. They're all told the same three things. It's a trifecta of messages. Number one, that nuclear weapons are wrong, evil, and you cannot survive a nuclear exchange, so don't try it. And war is kind of bundled up in that as well. Like war is this human thing that isn't quite understood out there in the greater universe. But we're specialists, and apparently that's disturbing to our visitors. So that's number one. Number two, everybody is told the same thing. They're shown ecological disasters happening on Earth, global warming turning Earth into the surface of Mars, and people are given visions and dreams, and this is part of what people experience now as experiencers. So the second bit of the trifecta is stop treating the world like it's replaceable. It's not. Stop thinking that it's your resource to just plunder, like you'll just go to the next planet over and do it again. There seems to be disgust from our visitors about that attitude and how laissez-faire we are about, just plundering everything and the beauty of Earth and this beautiful biodiversity that we live in for our wallets, and for personal fiscal gain. So that's one and two. Number three, what everybody seems to hear is better yourselves as a race. Raise your vibration. Live on a higher frequency. Now, Dr. Medich, who runs the ERT, this is a guy who he was a orthopedic surgeon after he was a baseball star, hot pitcher for the Yankees. He's got the Topps card and all that out there. But I remember him going, "What is this? Raise my vibration. What am I supposed to shake? What are they talking about?" And of course, it's talking about living on a higher level. That we're kind of living on this meat level, the third dimension, and it's about me. Earth is the center of the universe attitude, and out for myself. And that seems to be adverse to what they want for us. I think that they want us to see ourselves as part of the intelligences of the universe. I think that the problem is that humans left on their own, that we would create Star Wars. And I think that our visitors are hoping for Star Trek, that they want something where we're adding to the richness of life's great pageant. But I think that humans, we still have that animalistic thing that we brought down from the trees that is me first, and what's in it for me. And so that's the trifecta. We see that from case to case to case. Thousands of cases, 8,000 cases that the ERT has had. And it seems like this is the repeating pattern of messages. And it's quite simple. And it doesn't sound like an invasion to me. Doesn't sound like kidnapping to me. I mean, I think that, they were taking our DNA in case we destroy ourselves. Maybe they'll replant us somewhere or wait for the radiation to die down and try again. Um, and but now I think they've got the DNA, and now I think they're trying to get us to save ourselves. And I think it might be a lot like the Prime Directive in Star Trek, where this is our job. They're not going to come down and land on the White House lawn and turn everything off. I mean, they can do that. They turned off the missiles over at those ICBM bases. I'm sure they're perfectly capable of doing it again. But this world is for us to learn and for us to become space worthy. And so this is my personal belief and hypothesis around this. I could be wrong. I mean, they might be here to eat us. I hope not. But the evidence seems to point to something a bit more
No.
benevolent than being the
Yeah.
main course of some
I
dinner out there.
yeah, I would say that they're here to
They want our
I
women, right? They want.
yeah, either that or they are what is often described as the missing link, you know? Um,
Hmm.
they
Maybe it's us
what if
from the
the
future. I don't know. I
yeah,
mean, that
Dr.
I'm not.
Michael Masters
I
has a
love
great
Mike.
yeah.
That is
So
a hypothesis. It's
gonna
valid. I
you're
don't
gonna get
know.
all
They
these
they.
people on the show for me. That's just how I'm just kidding, Earl. No, but
Sure, just
can you
ask.
talk to us?
You're a buddy
Can
type.
I know. You know I love you too, and I really do. Um, can I so can you talk about any cases that you've had recently about abduction, and about downloads? Southern California is I mean, people don't understand, um, that Southern California is the Uh, what's your rank in terms of reports? Are you guys must be up there in the top 5, right?
We get the most. We get
You're
the
number
most
1?
reports. I think it's
Yeah?
us. Yeah,
Okay.
and then I think
Yeah.
it's Florida, and I think that Texas is, in there close, Arizona, but we are still the top of the pile, and I think that there's a lot of reasons for that. We're near the coast, and I think there's something going on between here and Catalina Island. That's where they saw the Tic Tac.
Yeah,
And I keep getting
I
cases
visited.
from the same area. I keep getting cases from there. Same
I
coordinates. I mean, I have the coordinates from Kevin Day. He took
Me
a
too.
photo of the logbook years ago. Yeah, I got them. And people keep seeing stuff there. Commercial pilots
I
camping on
I
East
saw
Catalina
something.
Island. Yeah, that's people do there.
I saw something at the northern tip of the island. However, I don't know if it was a plane pointed the wrong way, you know?
Hmm.
'Cause
Could have been. Yeah.
it could just been but whatever,
Well,
whatever.
I had one case where, and I like to talk about this one. I hope I haven't talked about it before on your show, but a
It's okay.
commercial pilot and his new wife and his brother-in-law, they were camping on East Catalina Island, and it's late. It's around midnight. He's sitting there in a lounge chair, and this guy, he's a commercial pilot. He usually does the run along the California coast, so he's good at dead reckoning distances, and he knew where he was looking at. He saw right like 10 miles out. It was right between Catalina Island and the mainland of Seal Beach. He saw a gold sphere come out of the water, and he said that you could see it. It was gold, like bright, bright, bright gold. 300 feet across, no markings, no windows. It just came out of the water. And it was hanging there for a while, and it started doing this crosswise dance up and down. He's yelling for his wife, yelling for his brother-in-law. Bring the binoculars. Should have asked for the cell phone too, but they come out. But the time that it took the brother-in-law to grab the binoculars and for them to come out of the tent, this thing had resubmerged. So he thought, show's over. They're never going to believe me. My God. He's trying to explain to them what he saw. They're standing there and it comes out of the water again. It reemerges from the ocean. And the coordinates are right where they saw the tic tac. They said that when they first saw the tic tac from the fighter planes, that it was causing this bubbling motion on the surface of the ocean, like there was some kind of force field, whatever was keeping it aloft, was disturbing the ocean. Well, he saw the same thing happen there. This gold 300-foot sphere comes out again. Again, it's doing this crosswise motion. This time he had binoculars, and he said it was beautiful. It was just like this Christmas bulb, lit up like a Christmas light, but 300 feet across, came out of the ocean. It sat there for a couple of seconds then, and then it shot up out of the atmosphere, never to be seen again, apparently, or at least not by him. Now that is one of many, many sightings here in Southern California. And that, I mean, I get commercial pilots, military pilots. I get, sometimes they'll mistake something. Like I had a couple of Navy helicopter pilots that saw what they thought was a UFO. They got it on their infrared camera. It turned out that it was the two afterburners of a jet leaving. And I was able to, tell them which jet and what it was they saw. So we're really, really careful. And you can't use a scientific method because you can't repeat an experiment in ufology, but you can have scientific principles and be very careful. In that area, I've had boat captains with their entire crew. Again, where they thought they saw the full moon in the sky, and then they realized it was a quarter moon and it was over here, and they're being hovered again by this gigantic spherical unmarked craft, like huddling and afraid on the decks. Captain and a couple of crewmates spoke with me. I could tell you about guys on aircraft carriers that have seen similar stuff. One case that wasn't in Southern California, I'll go into later, but here in Southern California, I think that we have all the aerospace stuff, right? Lockheed, Skunk Works is here. 3 different facilities I know of. Plant 42, Port
I was going to
Hueneme. There's
say,
one at Edwards, right? They're all 3 of those. We have underground bases. I know about the Ant Hill that Northrop has. Should I talk about that?
uh, uh,
Don't kill me. I know about, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Edwards, and then Area 51, of course, S4 is right over the Nevada border from us. And that's like, so it seems to be a hot spot. We've got Catalina Island, all traffic going on there. Channel Islands, where I had another flight crew put in a report last year. And the same flight crew had a sighting on the way to Hawaii back in 2005, I think it was. I have that case too, and photos of the flight log with all their signatures and drawing of 3 flying saucers on the flight log, because they were flying into Hawaii and they watched these 3 flying saucers 200 feet across each go in a triangulated pattern, holding pattern. Sat there just to kind of like, hi, hello, like the Cheshire cat, right? And then suddenly they shot down below the horizon line, the limb of the earth, which they could see from that, high altitude that they were at. But it's a hot spot here. Lots and lots and lots of very, very serious cases that
yeah.
come in, and people
And,
that get abducted and visited. That some of them you would, federal agents and stuff like that I can't tell you who they are, but for the cases for you.
so what do you think that there's any credibility to the idea